Lake Middle School teachers, elementary, high school, all educational personnel, and staff members. My friends, Millbury, Ohio. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jeff Yalden. I'm a teen mental health, crisis intervention, suicide prevention specialist who works exclusively with school communities. I'm already scheduled to be coming to your school community on February 13th, and I'm looking forward to my visit. My friends, I'm also the author of the latest Amazon bestseller in two categories, School Safety and the Psychology of Suicide. My latest book, Teen Suicide, The Why Behind America's Suicide Epidemic. My friends, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to my visit. And before I say anything further, I want to send my most sincere condolences to each and every one of you. Also, most importantly, to the family and to the close friends of this young man, Aaron Fuller, 6th grade. Man, to all the students, parents, families, the whole community, I understand the pain and all the questions that we are left asking. Please allow me to share some words and hope that together we as a school community can process this and we can move through it together. As hard as it is, it's best that we are all one in going through this and we are together for each other. Our kids are really struggling, and you can imagine the impressionable minds of these young and mostly innocent souls. This is devastating. Our staff, our teachers, our administration, families, everyone is distraught. This impacts and rocks a whole community to the core. My friends, I'm sorry, and I wish there were words that I can say to take away the pain, but sometimes there just isn't words other than, I'm truly sorry. It's never easy to send a video to a school community either. I hope you understand that my heart and my intentions are pure. Many are angry and probably don't want to hear anyone offer suggestions or thoughts, and I don't blame you. Wherever you are in the grieving process, I ask you to make sure that you are breathing and allowing yourself to feel, to be in thought, cry, shed tears, and to be concerned about everyone. My friends, this is real. We're not supposed to be dealing with this stuff in our schools, especially 6th grade. But we are. And we have to now. I'm here for each and every one of you. Please reach out to me if you need to vent, talk, and just try and understand. My cell phone is 603-321-5644. My friends, I'm here for you in any way I can be. So, grief of any loss is unique. The circumstances surrounding the death are often critical ingredients in determining the intensity and longevity of the grieving process. And losing someone to a suicide stirs a wide variety of feelings. And going through this may mean that you, your students, families, administrations even, counselors, need unique support and resources to cope with this loss. As we tell our students, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to ask for help. I need each and every one of you to know that you are no different. You have to take care of yourself through this process of taking care of the kids. Put yourself first. That's self-care. My friends, you can't pour from an empty pitcher. Just the same way you can't drive on an empty gas tank or you can't pay from an empty bank account. But as teachers, it's not just about curriculum. We've got to do more with less today. And during such a time as this, I need you to be the light and the inspiration Let's take it up a bunch of notches for our kids. But you can't do that if you aren't healthy yourself. You matter. Be together, talk, be positive, be supportive, and know that your words, your gestures, your smile, your kindness matters, especially in everyday moments over the next month. And you know what? It just matters every day. I need you to welcome these kids in the halls, entering the classrooms, in lunch, sports, everywhere. It's why we teach high fives, kind words, compliments, and let them know that you are the trusted and significant adult and that they're not alone. They're not alone. I'm going to tell you that our youth today, they don't care about titles and textbooks and research and statistics or anything else. They care about two questions. Do you care about me? And can I trust you? You are the significant adults that many of them don't have at home. You know this. You're the light, the inspiration for them, and especially now. This is very traumatic for them to go through, as it's traumatic for you as well. And this is going to leave deep scars on the students, especially the friends and his teachers that knew Aaron closely, that knew him well. Bereavement following a suicide is complicated by the complex psychological impact of the act on those who were closest to him. The process is also hindered by society's perception that suicide is the failure of the victim and the family to properly deal with an intense emotional issue. Whatever that may have been, I don't know. In many circles, society seems to lay the burden of blame at the feet of the survivors, or in this case, maybe the school, administration, students, teachers, staff, friends. You didn't do this, or maybe you didn't do that. Let's not go there. Let's not react and know that at a time like this, it's easy to react and place blame. But my friends, this is anger. This is blame. Understand this part of the process. Breathe and understand. Be graceful through all of this. The social stigma places such an additional weight on the family and close friends that many of them can't enter in a normal grieving process without significant professional help. And you can be supportive in advocating for professional help in your conversations with each other, with your students, parents, and friends. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to see something, say something, know something, do something. Teach your kids it's important. It's the right thing to do. Just allow me, if you would, to share with you some things that can be helpful as you're called upon to support your students, parents, and each other. Be prepared for powerful emotions. A student's suicide can trigger an intense emotional response. And expect emotions to be raw. Mentally prepare yourself to be sympathetic and strong. And so I want to share with you just a handful of emotions that you might experience. Shock, it's probably what you're going through right now. Numbness and denial surrounds any death, but the loved one's suicidal death will intensify these feelings. And it's also likely that the amount of time that the shock lasts might be longer. Be extra vigilant to those that were closest to Aaron. Anger. The emotion of anger may well permeate every waking moment of students, teachers, friends. And the friends and family, as you might be experiencing or you're about to experience, may be angry with the loved one for choosing this path or for being abandoned. There may be anger that the loved ones left such intense grief behind without thinking of those who survive. And there may be anger with other family members, his friends, school administration, teachers, anyone for failing to be supportive and or protective. My friends, I don't know exactly what happened, and it's not important right now. All these feelings could even be directed inward for not seeing clues about his intentions, whatever. Guilt is another one. It becomes very easy to play the what if, or if only I should have known, any of those scenarios. The result almost always is intense guilt, where the survivor, family, friends, they blame himself, herself, themselves for the loved one's death. Despair. It's easy for the sadness of the moment to cause an avalanche of emotions of hopelessness, helplessness, and abandonment. And the feelings can often lead to physical symptoms or illness or collapse. More so than other types, death by suicide is often stigmatized in today's culture. Though professional counselors and the media have worked hard to sensitize the public to the perils of mental illness, depression, and suicide, many survivors feel uncomfortable talking about it. And the stigma placed on suicide creates a huge barrier for many in the healing process. My friends, we need to talk about this. We have to. We can't let our feelings be bottled up. We have to understand that our students need closure. They need understanding. They need someone to talk to. And they need to understand that thoughts are thoughts. Just like an arm is an arm or a leg is a leg. But feelings can't be left to be bottled up and stored away, not to deal with. You don't need to be a mental health professional to make a difference in a child's life and to encourage them that it's okay to ask for help. Being a teacher and developing these relationships are what's more important. In the here and the now, where our kids live, relationships. And so trauma, survivors of suicide are more likely than any other group of bereaved people to develop symptoms of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Some survivors are the last to speak with the deceased, or Aaron in this case. Many have witnessed what happened or may have been the first to discover him. And so the images of his death or the body will be forever emblazoned upon the mind of the family for many years to come. How can you reach out? What can you do? Traumatic distress, along with despair and a preoccupation with the deceased, are more intense than under less severe circumstances. This is traumatic for you, for your students, for all the parents, for our whole community. Breathe. Sometimes we just got to breathe. One grieving a suicide loss may continue to feel these intense emotions for many months after the suicide. My friends, I'm so sorry. Remember that you touch hearts. You change lives. You touch the heart, and I promise you the mind will follow. I want you to embrace healthy coping strategies together with each other, encourage and support one another. The aftermath of a loved one's suicide can be physically and emotionally exhausting. I'm sure you're experiencing that. As the process of grieving begins to unfold, there's several factors that emerge as foundational for our recovery. One of the things I'd also like to address are the seating arrangements in the classroom. Where did he sit? My friends, I'll tell you what I have counseled with many, many school communities. Take this for what it's worth. Make sure you take the chair out of the room and also rearrange seating assignments. This is middle school, and these feelings and emotions are really intense. And I think you'd probably agree that parents don't want their kids to have to look at that empty chair and be in thought the whole class. I don't mean to be insensitive and to go there yet, but I think what's important is that you explain to the class why you are doing this, and you allow them to discuss and talk about their thoughts and feelings. And my friends, be graceful, open, supportive, and understanding. Again, thoughts are thoughts, feelings are feelings. It's okay to feel, to breathe with them, love, share, talk. You're the trusted adult. They need you. They need this time. And so now it's time for me to just share with you some of the stages of grief. And quickly, I'll share this with you and know that there's no timetable on how long that it takes someone to go through this process. It's different for everyone. But in the process, we need to be supportive and acknowledge each other for doing the work. We have to do the work. And so stage one, denial and isolation. Denial is usually the first, although it's temporary, defense that a person uses to cope with extreme loss. This cannot be happening to me, they might think. It's usually quickly accompanied by, I feel fine, leave me alone. Denial is the refusal to accept the facts of the loss, either consciously or unconsciously. But if dealing with death is personal, there's a refusal to take necessary steps to prepare for death, such as a will. If the grief is for someone else, the denial is prolonged by the refusing to deal with the consequences of the death, visiting the gravesite, getting rid of personal belongings, or even filing the necessary paperwork. There's so much in it. Stage two, anger. And whatever age you are, whatever relationship you've had, or it's all different. But in the stage of anger, the individual recognizes that denial cannot continue indefinitely. Why is this happening to me? This is not fair. People become angry with themselves for how they are coping with the death. And they become angry at others, often those closest to them, because the presence of friends often forces them to deal with the emotions. They become angry at maybe a higher power, seeking someone with authority and power to blame for not preventing the death. Grace. Bargaining process. Stage three. And this grieving process is an attempt to bargain for hope of an extended life. If you get me through this, I promise I'll be a better person. And so in this stage, the person understands that the death is real, but there's an attempt made to dodge it or delay it. And then stage four, depression. During this stage of grief, the person begins to understand and dwell on the certainty and the reality of death. What's the point of going on, they might think. It is at this point that many individuals become completely stuck, and they avoid their feelings, and they try to block out the thoughts. And so the person may become silent, avoiding, depressed, lost. They might refuse to interact with anyone and spend most of their time alone. And in the time alone, they're crying uncontrollably. They're lost. They're searching for meaning. They don't know what to do. They don't trust in talking to people. It's as simple as they might not even know how. But my friends, this process often allows the dying person to disconnect from the things and the people of value. And then the final stage is acceptance. In the final stage, the individual begins to figure a way to come to grips with maybe their own mortality, that this is real, this is happening, this is life. Again, we could talk about suicide and loss with adults all day long. The challenge we have is this happened to a 6th grader. They might start thinking, I cannot escape this. I may as well become prepared for it. And then the thought is, how do you prepare children for this? But acceptance is where we need to get to. This is where that person moves into the stage and they often feel an incredible sense of dignity and peace in their ability to cope with the inevitable. This is about incredible growth, getting to know who you are, being comfortable with who you are not. And that's why as teachers, just be real. Just be real. Remember, can I trust you, and do you care about me? So you might ask, how long do these stages last? Well, if grief even comes in stages, we immediately want to know how long the stages will last. Each one, we want to know when the pain and the sadness that travels alongside the loss will subside. When is it going to get easier? And the answer to that question is dependent upon many variables. And I think the first thing is, for those closest to him and the family, the pain is forever. But every single day gets a little bit easier. First, an individual does not have to go through each of the stages in order to heal from the grieving process. Again, it's dependent on each other, how they knew him, how they're feeling. Are they willing to go through it? Are they accepting of the process? Are they aware of the process? And so how long a stage or the entire process will take, again, it varies on the individual. But several factors are involved in this process. How a loved one died, when they died, what their relationship was to you, or how our personality tends to respond to change and loss and other circumstances going on in our life will also influence how long the grieving process will take for the individual. Another factor that can influence the amount of time that grieving takes is the amount and the quality of support that the individual receives from family and friends and you, the teachers, the administration. A support system that offers encouragement, nurturing, and care will allow for sharing about the loss and will promote healing. My friends, I'm sorry. I wish you all grace, love, togetherness, and comfort through this whole process. Getting back to normal will be incredibly powerful for our kids and us, but it will take time. Remember, take care of yourselves first. Take care of our kids. Think about what you can do to help be a part of the solution and the process of us all moving forward together as one, our community. My friends, we teach kids first. Our subject area is second. I'll see you all soon. I'm looking forward to meeting each and every one of you and working with your students and working with your parents. My friends, I'm so sorry.